a pal of mine and I, you know, fly to like, we end up, you know, in Venezuela and Colombia a little bit, but we end up in Peru, seriously. We go north, there was a brand new park to open, and freaking the base was like 16,000 feet.
Jeez.
We so we got on a rickety bus out of Lima, was way north, and this park, it just opened it with no workers or no nothing. It's just, yeah, there's this, we call it a park kind of thing. And some little town, at a place that sold cars, we rented a Volkswagen. And they were like at about 11, 12,000 feet, something like that. But anyway, we got that at about 16,000 feet. I don't think we could have gotten that Volkswagen to suck any more air. It was like, that's like, but anyway, there's a little lake and a stream in between. And I was catching small rainbows, and there was one. The only people we saw a couple at like a steam cave, kind of on the way there. But then these two, like Incas, fishing, and they kind of had just line on a stick.
Yeah.
And they watched me hauling in the fish with these freaking flies. Finally, they came over. I didn't speak. They didn't speak the language, but it's like they weren't going to leave me alone until I gave them some of those flies.
That's awesome.
So anyway, and then from there, somehow I ended up in, you know, after cruising in Peru for a while, ended up in Chile, and it was way south of San Diego.
Yeah.
And I, you know, but anyway, the name of the river was Cum Laude. I was just there for a while. And, you know, it was more or less just on a lark. Wasn't planned. I mean, I just showed up. Oh, and, you know, okay, let's go fishing. As a matter of fact, you know what I did? I traded the owner of the lodge the fishing trip for, guess what? Some of these, it was like the original, like, thin waders. Like stocking foot.
Yeah.
They were like, they weren't gonna last a long time, right? You know, one of these, not, you know, so.
What year was that?
It was like 80 or 81, one or the other. You know, and so anyway, it was like he was so impressed. I shoot, you know, like, cause he'd only, you know, big canvas boot foot waders was what that's what I was always wearing.
Yeah.
But I got those, and I think I paid 30, 40 bucks for it. You know, it was like, Jesus. Yeah, I could work that deal. He wanted those. Okay, wait a minute. What am I doing? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm going to go over there and try and, it's too muddy there, too deep. But let me see if I can, you know, see, I'm mellow enough about fishing, kind of caught enough fish. I end up spending more time beating my freaking mouth than somebody, you know, like talking shit. Yeah. Oh, this isn't even gonna be worse. No, I didn't know how to sell. Fuck, are you kidding me? We almost crashed and burned a dozen fucking times. No, I would never buy myself a sailboat. Shit. I wouldn't want to be responsible for my own property.
Were you crewing on that boat, or was it your boat?
I rented it but I had to lie like I had to make up that I was like this fucking expert. You know, I got out the books and started it and learned the words and wrote all the shit down on this. You know, and they went, oh yeah, this guy's fucking great. I'm surprised they didn't hire me as a captain. Yeah, that's the kind of you know, it's like when you got too much testosterone, you do shit like that, you know? I got nothing. I'm giving up.
Do we need to set the handicap?
I definitely should do something like that in the winter months or something, when I'm in Mesquite.
Yeah, I think you dig it.
Yeah, Phil Phil, I don't know his last name, Phil and Dave. I don't know if you, oh, you know.
I think I fish with them tomorrow.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They're right after me, it seems like, all the way through. So, yeah. Anyway, Phil is like his, like, been everywhere in the world fishing. Just
what's his bag? What's his favorite?
now I don't remember exactly the name, but it's in the Amazon.
Peacock bass?
And it's peacock bass. And what he said, okay, they come through a broker. I keep thinking Larry the Cable Guy, but it's Larry, maybe the
Fishing with Larry?
Fishing with Larry.
Gotcha.
That was it. And now it's like Guy's taking over because he's the son. Larry's Fishing with Larry. Well, anyway, they do these different trips, and Fishing with Larry, including this one. And the guy, the son that now owns this place, runs it, of all these places that they do, that is his favorite, best gig. And Phil, like, swears by it. I might have to take down some of that. I'll have to try, you know, since the chemo, I mean, some weird shit can stay in my head, but there's some things that I just fucking, you know, they've told me that Fishing with Larry about 100 times, and I've still got, you know, like Larry the Cable Guy. You know.
I don't know if it's the chemo or the strain of weed.
No. See, it was prescribed, so yeah, it's all part of the fucking deal, man.
How long ago was your chemo?
It was 4 years. I've been done 4 years last May.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, so and like basically, they consider me cured in about another 6 or 7 months.
Sick.
Yeah, but then the guy says, he says, I really am looking, you're cured now the way they get, you know, like your fucking blood chemistry is perfect. You're you know, it's like, you're cured now, but the deal is you know, the chemo and the radiation causes serious damage, and now we're worried about what the treatment did to you, and that might cause something. Huh. So, thanks, boss. You know, that's what I wanted to hear. You know, and I really think they didn't, you know, I would have gone with this chemo shit, but I really think it was the surgeon cutting my freaking tumor out.
Where was it?
Right here in one of my lymph nodes.
Yeah.
And it was just the two oncologists thought it was this one kind of, it's a diffuse large B cell, I thought it was, lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's. And their chemo and radiation just kills the shit out of it. And it's a real common thing, but it's really aggressive. You gotta frickin' do it right away, or you're fucking you're dead. Yeah. And so, okay, and we start with, so anyway, by mistake, they set up a biopsy with an ears, nose, throat guy. And you know, like for the next day after I'm with the oncologist, and they've scheduled my chemo, like, I think it's the next week. I'm on, no matter what, I'm going in chemo. And so I get into the nose throat guy, and he goes, well, I can't fucking do this here. You know, nobody said this had to be a biopsy here. And the thing that this is a hard thing to do a biopsy, and it's a special room, and I can't get in there for 2 fucking weeks.
2 weeks, they'll blast you with, yeah.
So I go, so he goes, but like, I'm scheduled in the operating room all day, or what, you know, like he had, day after tomorrow, and I can just cut the entire tumor out, and then pathology can frickin' biopsy the dog shit out of it. So I went, yeah, I want that. And so, you know, I said, call my oncologist, fucking, you know, like, tell him that's what I wanted to do. Yeah. And so they were, okay, all right. So
they sent him in for you to get a little sample, take a sliver, and he was like, I'll fucking yank that sucker out.
Yeah, well, and it's, if you're not totally freaking gone, it's hard to get the freaking enough tissue, because they would poke in to try to get the tissue, and it would move around. And it was like I was awake trying to do this. It sucked. It sucked. But anyway, so my deal is so Now, if there was a medical mistake, the back office didn't really tell the other guys, this guy needs a fucking or somebody didn't say biopsy, because otherwise I wouldn't have gone in there for that appointment, right? Yeah. And so, and I know my chemo guys, they would have wanted, we're already doing our setting up chemo. They didn't want that fucking surgeon cutting anything out, so they would have been waiting for the biopsy and then set me up for the chemo. And then, but the point is when they came in, a third of this tumor, it was a compound tumor, a third of it was this diffuse large B cell. Oh. But 2/3 of it was this something called follicular, and it's not curable. And there's 4 grades of it, but the first 3 grades are like, you got 10 years. It's a real slow growing freaking deal. The 4th one, 3B, that's what I had. It's frickin', it's like aggressively grows, and you only got a couple of months. And so then that's when my longtime girlfriend, I'm in kind of a new place, Mesquite, Nevada, and so I went, well, we need, I'm gonna need people to be signing the fucking papers and, taking care of business. And it's much easier being just a girlfriend. That's what love is. So anyway, yeah, and that's since 1993 we've been together. So no, this was like we were married anyway. It was just because of a tax reason we weren't. Yeah. So anyway, so we got married like January 2nd, and they got the
4 years ago.
2018. Yeah. And so anyway, and then it turns out, he takes the full tumor out, gets it in there. I'm in there for chemo already, and then finally pathology comes in, and